Cubs with a heartbreaking series. We talk Bears preseason and preview a very important position, and that is the quarterback.
Yeah, Northside noise, Shot City day, Joey Sam, lock it in, wind blow all the spin, cuff talk, yeah, tap in, and with a heartbeat couple quick.
Welcome to the Shy City Den. I am Joey Glickman alongside Sam Van Cleve. We're breaking down the biggest stories, biggest games, and all things Chicago sports. If it's happening in Chicago, we're talking about it. Let's get into it. Sam, let's start with the Cubs. Cubs with a massive disappointment this weekend out in Seattle, losing in extra innings on Friday night, losing a heartbreaker on Saturday, being up 2 runs with nobody on and 2 outs, and explode on Sunday with 19 runs. Let's start with Friday. The Cubs got down early, or the Cubs went up early, Bregman, who's been by far the best player, honestly, maybe in all of baseball in the second half. Hits a 2-run homer, put him up 3-0. I thought that Boyd would settle in. He struggled. He struggled mightily on Friday night. That's now 2 starts in a row where he struggled. And I'm not sure you're going to trust him in a postseason game as it stands right now. And Cubs force a 10th inning. Alex Bregman ties it up in the 9th, his second homer of the game. And then the Cubs were nowhere close to scoring the go-ahead run in the 10th and lose it off a 2-out hit from the 130 hitter Leo Rivas. And then Saturday, Cubs were cruising. Bregman, another homer. Bush, back-to-back homers. And then head to the 9th. Jacob Webb, who's been the best reliever on the Cubs this year, blew it. It seemed like he was due for a blow-up like that. And then Sunday, they destroyed him. Ian Happ, a grand slam. Pedro Ramirez, a grand slam. And the Cubs just absolutely poured it on Sunday. But there were a lot of negatives this weekend, Sam. Sam, Matthew Boyd struggled on Friday. Do you trust him in a postseason game starting as it stands right now?
I still do. I think Boyd has been one of our most consistent arms the past 2 years, and he's had some rocky starts here and there after the meniscus issue or the knee issue. So for me, I do still have trust in Boyd, but the best part about our deadline and where we stand right now is how deep we are. Is that if Council's wavering faith in him at all, he can go to 5 other guys that we have, but that could also be a problem. Like, we don't have a definitive top 3 like the Brewers do in Milwaukee. Their bullpen, at least the back end of it, is pretty much set, like with the Uribe, McGill, and then obviously the guys before that, like
Ashby.
Ashby.
Anderson.
So I feel like their bullpen is pretty set compared to like ours. You brought up trust. Like, how much do you trust this bullpen, even though like we still don't really have like quote unquote roles in the back end, or you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Here's the thing. Like, the Rollisons of the world and the Thorntons of the world, the guys that we've relied on pretty much all year are starting to fade. They've been great this year, no matter, like, they've really stepped up for this group, but it looks like they're starting to fade. And we're going to get reinforcements back. I don't know what's up with Milner. I heard he was coming back last week. I haven't heard anything since. Brown and Steele, positive injury news today. They're throwing another bullpen Tuesday and Friday, and if those work out, they're both going to head down to Iowa for a rehab start. or rehab appearances, if you will. But yeah, I mean the only guy that you're relying on in the bullpen as it stands right now is Jacob Webb, and you go up north and they seem like they have a plan.
Right.
The starter goes for 5 or 6. The bullpen, the mix that you said, finishes the game, and that's that. And they've had like Logan Henderson. Who would have thought he would have turned out to be the guy that he is for the Brewers this year? I know this isn't a Brewers podcast, but guys like him, who would have thought Kyle Harrison in the trade with Durbin was going to be their really a second ace for the Brewers, especially when Priester goes down, Woodruff goes down for the year. You trade Freddie Peralta. You had a lot of question marks for their rotation, and they've answered all those questions and then some. So the Brewers are going to be tough to beat no matter what. They have a plan. They know what they're doing, and it seems like the Cubs in their bullpen don't really have much of a plan. That can change. Like that can change once those guys come back, but they're not back. So Craig is definitely patching some stitches right now.
And obviously, you can't really rely too much on those reinforcements to, carry the heavy load as you get into the eighth, ninth inning of the game. Like, Palencia's back, but I mean, I have a feeling we're obviously going to ease him back into high leverage spots and, throw him in some low leverage spots right away, maybe just to get his feet wet, because he's been out, a long time. So, same with Hobie Milner and some of the other guys scheduled to come back for us. So I really can't, like, even though we don't really have like a set top 3-4 guys like the Brewers do, like I do think like the culmination of starters and the culmination of bullpen arms will come together nicely when we do get into October. And then from there, it's just Craig pressing, or pushing the right buttons rather.
Yeah, I forgot about Palencia. He looked good on Friday night. A clean inning. His velo was there. He had good stuff. He should be a massive piece in this bullpen going forward. I don't see him closing at all for the rest of the year unless Jacob Webb completely crumbles. I don't see that happening.
What we did with Palencia last year in the playoffs is like I would prefer that again. Almost like
Sure.
come in, get like the lockdown 6th, 7th inning, something like that. Or bring him in when the heart of the order is right there. Someone where he can
Yeah,
come in at any point in the game and give us a shutdown inning.
but does Craig in the postseason, instead of like having a set role for Jacob Webb in the ninth, does he put Jacob Webb in for let's say the 2, 3, 4 hitters are due up in the eighth? You put Jacob Webb out in the eighth to face the heart of the order, or you keep him out there in the ninth to get those last 3 outs? Because Palencia's pitched in big situations. He closed out the WBC, pitched in the postseason last year. Like, he's got that big time experience. So pressure's not going to get to him.
Yeah. It's just more so about being comfortable in that situation, and he hasn't been in a situation like that in months. So I don't know how comfortable I personally feel with Palencia jogging out in the ninth inning of a 1-run lead, and he hasn't seen a ninth inning 1-run lead in 5 months.
So we'll see what happens with the bullpen stacking up. Let's preview the Cubs D-backs series this week. Cubs will head out west. The most Cubs fans probably of the year on the road. Seems like there's always a good turnout for Cubs fans in Arizona. It'll be Gausman versus Merrill Kelly tonight, and it will be Clay Holmes against Brandon Pfaadt, who it seems like we face him every time we play him. On Tuesday and then Wednesday, the matinee, Matthew Boyd against Erod, who's been their best pitcher all year, 2.61 ERA. This game, first pitch is in 15 minutes, Sam. This is a big start for Kevin Gausman tonight. He hasn't had a good start in a Cub uniform yet. His walk rate has been up severely, concerningly, whichever word you want to use. what are your expectations for this series? With probably these three pitchers are going to be the pitchers that are going to go for you in a potential wild card series.
I mean, if you think back to the series we had with the D-backs last year and last season, like it was all exciting games. So I feel like this series might bring fireworks, especially tonight with Gossman going against Merrill Kelly. I feel like Merrill Kelly and matter of fact, the rest of their rotation is a rotation that I think we can get to early on and kind of pound them. So that's what I'm expecting out of us. That's what I think we can bring to the table. Obviously, after that 18-run performance yesterday in Seattle, I think momentum carries, and this is another offensive kind of showing series. But I'm expecting the bats to be active on both sides.
For sure. And I fully expect Clay Holmes to be really good. I think right now, as it stands, I know Clay Holmes has had, what is this, 2 starts with, or maybe 3 starts with the Cubs.
Three,
Um,
yeah.
yeah, I think he gets the game for game one in a wild card series. I think Matthew Boyd gets game two, and I think honestly, man, like maybe Peterson, dude, like 100%, like he deserves a postseason spot in the rotation. He's been so great this year.
He had
Um,
someone. By the way, Peterson, we didn't mention he had some incredible work in that game against the Mariners. Got out of a big time jam.
yeah,
Just quality, like damage control. Peterson
100%.
is a great damage control guy. I think.
His ERA, what's his ERA now, Peterson? I think his ERA was like well over 6, and it's down to like 5 or something. So he's been
I mean,
nothing but stellar. Go ahead.
yeah, I feel like I'm never like when I look at pitchers now, like an ERA is never really the first thing I go to. I feel like ERAs sometimes a lot. Like for Peterson, example, like he's such a heavy ground ball guy. The ball's going to be put in play a lot. So I mean, he's a guy too. Like him, Clay Holmes. Like I feel comfortable with those two on the mound because of how much ground balls they produce, and in the October cold, nippy weather in Chicago, like that's the type of starter you want on the mound.
For sure. And, obviously we don't know the status. I mean, we kind of do of Dansby. He's coming back in a month probably around that time. Um, but again, that's a huge point. Like Dansby needs to be back for those guys in the postseason because he won you a series last year pretty much single handedly. Um, so yeah, I honestly have full confidence in Clay Holmes. He's also pitched in big time situations for the Yankees, really as a closer. Um, so pressure won't get to him there. Kevin Gausman pitched in a World Series last year. Matthew Boyd, obviously last year pitched in the postseason. So like these guys have postseason experience, and I think personally that's going to bode well for this club in a 3-game series. If they were to go against the Phillies, though, it's going to be tough with Sanchez, Wheeler, and Lazardo. It's the same thing with them. So um, I guess we'll see what happens when that time comes. But this is a massive series for the Cubs. If the Cubs were to win this series, they'll probably officially clinch a postseason berth. Just with the D-backs the last spot out. So Cubs got to find a way to win 2 out of 3 in this series, and hopefully they do just that. Sam, enough Cubs talk. Let's move on to the lakefront. Bears went to Cincinnati for a preseason game against the Bengals. They got absolutely murdered. But we did see Caleb Williams. He looked sharp. ESPN this morning was talking about that overthrow to Colson Loveland for about 10 minutes. A joke. It's a
ESPN
joke.
doesn't know shit.
It's
ESPN,
a joke what ESPN puts out there, man. They need to find some new anchors.
yeah,
It's really terrible.
yeah. ESPN has been putting out sorry content for years now, and yeah, that's just not a good sports media outlet at all anymore.
It's terrible. I have it on in the background at work. Like there's a TV on in my work, and I'm just looking at the headlines. Like, is Jordan Love good, elite, great? Like, bro, it's enough. It's enough. There's a big MVP race going on in baseball, and the storylines that they're talking about are a joke. But that's a different topic for a different day. But Sam, who stood out for you Saturday night? I think Johnny Walker for me stood out. Who for you stood out for the Bears on Saturday?
Yeah, Jade Walker off the rip, great shout out. And this was a dude that's like, you go back to last preseason, his rookie preseason, we kind of knew he was going to establish himself on this roster after that game in Kansas City where he had the game-winning catch on that preseason game. So I feel like Jade, and obviously last year, showed up in maybe the biggest spot of the year against Green Bay at home. This dude is a true gamer, and I think he showed that again in this preseason game, and I feel like he solidified a roster spot 100%. I don't need to see any more of Jade. And that's kind of what I think that Cincy game told me. But for me, back-to-back weeks of being a standout, I think Jordan Vandenberg again jumped out on tape. This dude's just like explosiveness, his motor is absolutely relentless. And I'm saying this again, I'm tripling down on my take. I really think the Bears have found a gem in Vandenberg, and I think he's going to be an immediate impact for this team. Like you saw, he's chasing down running backs on the boundary of the out-of-bounds line. Like he's diving out of bounds to try and make a tackle. This dude's a dog. He's got an endless motor. Jordan Vandenberg, again, a guy who pops for me. And honestly, the rest of the defensive tackle room, these two first preseason weeks, I've kind of been impressed with the defensive tackle room and the depth that they've been showing. Yeah, Gallimore's been in the backfield consistently. Dio Dingbo had a hit on Josh Johnson, which was awesome to see. So I do think little by little, I think Dennis Allen can kind of squeeze a little more juice out of this defensive line unit that he got last year out of this unit. Especially, headed into year 2 with Dennis Allen and the defense, I think everyone in the system will be a little bit more comfortable. But yeah, I thought the defensive line popped again. But Jordan Vandenberg, I think this dude is an absolute gem. I'll say it again. He pops for me.
Yeah, I think like there's a chance like if Javon Dexter struggles in the first 4 weeks, we could definitely see more snaps for Vandenberg come like October. And
I think we're off the rip right away. Like he's a rotational piece. He'll see action on third downs. Maybe
yeah, for sure,
action.
like 100%. Like I don't know what you're gonna expect from Gallimore. I mean, he's had a good camp, but like he's a guy, man. Like there are guys that are hidden gems in NFL drafts, and I think we found one here. I know he hasn't played a real game yet, but we haven't heard anything negative about Vandenberg. Like we've only heard positive things about him, and like usually, like you never hear anything about 6th round picks in training camp their first year. Like,
well, no, because that's because he's been popping on tape, and like film doesn't lie.
Right.
Like, film does not lie. You can do all this stat talk, whatever you want. When you go turn the film on, guess who jumps out? Jordan Vandenberg. It's play after play after play.
Right. And he kind of stood out when we were there, or not you, but because our training camp got canceled. Don't mean to rub it in, but when I was there the day before, he stood out. It seemed like he was standing out, and like you said, man, like he can see reps right away for this team. It could be an impact. Like, the Bears were in on Vita Vea until he signed that extension. We may not need him because we have Vita Vea at home and Jordan Vandenberg. So I don't know. Can he get to the quarterback, or is he more of a run stopper? I'm not quite sure.
I mean, we drafted him as a run clogger, but to me, the first preseason game against Cleveland, he had 3 pass rush hurries, and in 15 pass rush snaps. So he almost had Deshaun wrapped up a couple of times in week 1 of preseason. So I do believe he can get to the quarterback, but I think his best strength is being a disruptor immediately. Like I think he fits the run game really well, and I think he's going to clog a lot of running lanes.
Yeah, and I guess he replaces Billings, who departed for Arizona, who was a run
And
stopper.
Billings was on the decline. I mean, for the past 2 years with us, couldn't stay healthy. I mean, the play was just not up to par this past season. So I feel like we
Yeah,
do get an upgrade with Gallimore coming in, and obviously Vandenberg.
yeah, and I don't think Billings had a sack while he was a Bear. So he's got about a 6'5" 40. So, um, but yeah, I'm super excited for him. And Jade Walker, man, I like. I didn't realize that he can get the contested ball until I saw what I saw on Saturday night. Um, he's not like I've stood next to him. He's not like a big dude. Like he's probably like 6'3", like 195, 200. Like he's not like a big dude. But what I saw Saturday night, he plays like he's a 6'5" receiver. Like that he can go get that ball. Like that was a sweet catch, dude. And like he's got some experience from last year. He played in big games against Green Bay, caught a obviously huge touchdown pass against the Packers, especially with DJ out that game, or not DJ, Luther, and I think Rome was out that game as well.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, I mean he's a lock to make the roster, and he's probably going to slot in as a third wide receiver.
Yeah, I mean, if you've been a consistent listener, Jade Walker should be no new name. I feel like this is a guy that's constantly been talked about for like the past year, and like how we're just kind of waiting for him to break out. And obviously, he broke out in that Green Bay game and that Detroit game. He had another awesome TD catch. I just think he's such a complete receiver. Like he can go win you the 50-50 ball. Really good at high pointing the football. And the after catch ability too. Like he's athletic, he can move, he's quick, explosive, great route runner. I thought the route running improved this offseason into camp. So Jade Walker is certainly someone I'm high on. I want to see him get more dirty in the run game and get his hands dirty with blocks. I think you're going to learn a lot from Khalif Raymond coming in. Ladies and gentlemen, I feel like Khalif Raymond is going to make an unbelievable impact on this team. I really do. The more we talk about, I mean, we talked about it, or we haven't talked about the receivers yet, have we? No, we did. Yeah, we did. Yeah, we did the receivers in the past week. But Khalif Raymond is kind of a veteran you like just want to have around the building. He's a guy who's going to lead by example, be a rock for us on special teams. I feel like he's almost a safety blanket in the slot for Caleb at times. So I feel like day by day, I'm almost more confident in this year's receiving group than last year's. Obviously, the improvement from Rome, Luther getting back out there soon, hopefully. I just think it's a more well-rounded group, deeper group. So I'm excited to see them. But Jade Walker, 31 other NFL teams really messed up. Joe, you're on mute.
Oh, there we go. I was muted. Excuse me. Um, yeah, we'll see what happens. Jade is going to be a huge piece for this team going forward. Let's move quickly over to our last position group preview, and that is the quarterback room. Obviously, Caleb, Tyson, and Case Keenum. Sam, I ask you the big question. What are your expectations for Caleb this year?
Obviously, another jump, right? That's what everyone's expecting. I think this is a jump that gets a little scary, Joe. I mean, we saw how incredible the year 2 jump was year 2, that was the real rookie year last year. Let's admit it. I mean, everyone knows it. Everyone and their mother knows last year was the true rookie season for Caleb, and look what he did: 3,900 yards, 27 touchdowns. The area he needs to improve in: anticipation throws, and obviously being more efficient with the football. If he can improve just slight tick, completion percentage up from, the 50s, mid 50s, wherever he's at. If he can get to 60%, this team is going to be so much better, Joe. I mean, the offense, what I'm looking for just every series is just more efficient movement of the football, like less, we were so good, and like Caleb's completion percentage didn't matter last year because of the explosive plays. Like, he made up for having a bad completion percentage, and that was completely fine. But this year, if he ups the completion percentage and he still keeps those big plays, those big hero moments, which he's built for, the fourth quarter comes around and we're in the game, like, Caleb's taking it. So if he can improve on the efficiency, improve on throwing the ball with anticipation, Joe, the ceiling talk gets really scary, not only with Caleb, but this whole team. Like, I really feel like during the year, like, all of the win totals, the ceiling totals for the NFC North is low, like 11, 10 wins. That's because we beat each other up. Like, by the end of the year, we have played everyone in the division twice, and like, we're going to take games, we're going to lose games. It's inevitable. But if we get in the playoffs, Joe, as an 11, 10-win team, matter of fact, 9-win team, I don't care what seed we are in the playoffs, like, Caleb and Ben have the ability to drag this team over the top.
Percent. And everyone talked about it last year, the completion percentage. It won't matter if they score 30-plus points a game. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. He can go 16 for 32, but if they end up with 32 points on the board, 35 points on the board, who cares? Who cares? He didn't really throw that many picks last year. What was it? 6, 7?
7. He had 7.
7? Like, it doesn't matter. As long as you're scoring 30 points a game, it doesn't matter. So my expectations for Caleb are this. I think his floor this year is a lot higher than it was last year, and his ceiling is a lot higher than it was last year. I don't think they're going to get off to a slow start like they did last year offensively, just because with Ben in the fold, year 2, I think that certainly helps. But I don't see Caleb struggling this year, and I did place a Caleb MVP bet the other day because I do think he has a real chance at winning MVP this year. Honestly, it's up to the offensive line, and it's all up to the weapons that Caleb has. So I'm super excited to watch Caleb in year 3, excuse me, as everyone else should be, and he's going to put the league on notice this year like he did last year.
Agreed. I mean, the league, like you said, the league's already been put on notice. They know the talent Caleb is, and they know the type of damage him and Ben can do together. My bold take for Caleb entering this year, 2 of them. I think, for one, over 4,000 yards. I think if it wasn't for Olamide Zaccheaus dropping the wide open drag route in Washington, he's over 4,000. But since Olamide Zaccheaus dropped the ball, we're sitting here still talking about Caleb hitting 4,000 yards. So I think he hits over 4,000 with ease this year. And I think he notches over 30 total touchdowns. I think Ben has been putting an emphasis on points per game. And, we all saw his remarks on how he wants to break the Denver Broncos record for points per game. And for me, like, if Ben sets a goal of that or something of that nature, like, it's within realm, or it's within reason. It's Ben Johnson. Like, he instilled faith back into the city of Chicago. I trust everything this man says, everything he does with his roster. So if he's aiming for 38 points per game, I think this team is going to be over 30 points per game.
Ben has
So
high expectations for this offense, as he should.
yeah, so we might be scoring 35 a game, and we might be letting up 34.9 a game, but if we win, we win.
Um, yeah, I think Ben having those high expectations for this offense honestly makes the offense better. I think Caleb having high expectations is honestly a privilege for him to have high expectations in the NFL. So um, we'll see what happens with Caleb. Super excited to watch him year 3, as should every single Bears fan across the world. Sam, anything else before we get out here and watch the Cubs take on the Diamondbacks?
I mean, last year at this time, Caleb and Co. couldn't even get out of the huddle with the play call. So
Yeah,
I'll
yeah,
leave it at that.
yeah. 0 procedure penalties so far, or lack of procedure penalties so far in training camp. So that's also a good sign. Thank you so much for listening to the Shy City Den. We will be back sometime this week, recapping Diamondbacks, maybe find a new series to talk about, and much, much more. For Joey Glickman, that is Sam Van Cleve. Thank you for listening to the Shy City Den.